Alessandro being tipped as regular starter heading into this season. We're going to take a look at the details of that. We have Max Allegri's redemption tour, all right, and plan to leave in the summer. Got the details on that. International player status for some of our players and potential roster moves that could come as Juve still have a healthy number they want to raise in the mercato. Where is it going to come from, all right? Let's take a look at that and all the news surrounding Juventus right now. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. This is the AJC. I'm Alberto. Let's rock. We're going to kick things off with international duty, all right? With Spalletti joining the Azzurri as the new head coach, this should see Locatelli re-enter the fold in the midfield, all right? And I believe this is right when I look at the Azzurri's roster and I look at what Locatelli has become for Juve, and that is the glue in the midfield. I definitely think he needs to be a part of the Azzurri, so look for him to return to the call. Now, as far as France goes, Paul Pogba has made the initial list for Deschamps, but there are 2 rounds still of league play before that has to be finalized and we hit the international break. Paul Pogba could see minutes this weekend in the home opener against Bologna, but if you ask me, he hasn't got continuity and playing regularly again. I'd like to see him left off of that international list for now, but that's just me. You guys know the drill. Let me know in the comments section. Now, Sandro. Alessandro is being tipped as a regular starter this season and labeled as very important to Max Allegri, okay? Obviously, this is going to frustrate the majority of Tifosi out here because of Gatti. We have a season where we were playing in one competition. This is a chance to answer a lot of questions we have about Gatti and truly find out what we have there. Ultimately, I don't like the fact about Gatti losing minutes this season to somebody that is only here because he hit an automatic renewal based on appearances and somebody we tried to offload multiple times during the offseason. However, I can also concede and understand the importance of having a left-footed left center back for there, and if it is better for the greater good of the group, then it makes total sense. All right, now we have also seen Alessandro start seasons off very, very strong and then fade. I really do trust in the fact that Max Allegri realizes that he can't falter this season, and there's such a slim margin for error that we're allowed, and I don't think he would allow someone to drop off anywhere on this team with the fact that there's going to be little rotation as it is without making a change. But for now, you have a left-footed player that can really make a difference, especially what we saw in that first half against Udinese with a guy like Cambiasso up there almost acting like a third forward based on having a left-footed there that can launch that and send him as a bomber. Right now, for the greater good, but we have to keep tabs on Sandro, in my personal opinion. You guys know what to do. Hit it up in the comment section with your thoughts. Now, in the mercato, it is said Juventus still want to raise 20 to 30 million euros. Where is that going to come from? So you hear the regular names that have been linked for a while now. Kostic, Kean, with sales and whatnot. But truth is, Mirko Di Natale hits us today, and Kostic, with all this interest, there are no offers coming through. Moise Kean has interest. Fulham has inquired, being the latest team to inquire about him. We knew about Milan and whatnot, but he is more likely to stay this season. This is coming out from Mirko Di Natale on both those players, all right? So the potential for sales here isn't really there. Illing Jr., his name still floats around, but you would have to think that Juve is not going to want to sell him outright. Maybe just a loan there, which doesn't loans don't put us anywhere close to the numbers they're trying to get right now. Loans with obligations, sure. But again, do we really want to get rid of Illing Jr.? When asked the question, the poll question out there, who would you sacrifice out of Illing Jr. or Kostic? The vast majority said Kostic. And I am with the majority on that one. I would be fine sacrificing Kostic, keeping Cambiasso, Illing Jr. around. But I'm also happy to keep things the same with our roster, to be honest. So it's going to be interesting. I don't think we're going to come close to raising that type of money. Miretti, Hans Nicolucci Caviglia, the same. Their future's uncertain. There's a lot of talks about Miretti. The latest team to come forward for him is Monza. But again, Juve doesn't want to lose him outright. Probably just going to be a loan. I see no way we can hit that number that they're looking for to wrap up the mercato with. But of course, who knows, and anything can happen, all right? But Miretti and Hans Nicolucci Caviglia could very much both be staying. And we are still linked with midfielders, Diarra and whatnot. All I'm going to say is this. Diarra at 19 years old with still question marks around him, I would much rather just keep Miretti, who's had a season under his belt with us, despite my criticisms of Miretti. Now, I do think ultimately a loan with Miretti would be the best move we can make for him and us long term. But I would have to see somebody like Samardzic come in, who I think is obviously much more polished and could add something right out of the gate while Miretti continues to grow with continuity and minutes. But hey, we will see what happens. If nobody comes in the midfield, I don't expect anybody leaving, to be honest. And that goes for Caviglia and Miretti, because one of those midfielders on our list is Paul Pogba, and we still can't bank on him, all right? Now, when it gets to Berardi, the rumors continue to swirl. I know Cannavale came out, and despite him saying that it's past a deadline that they had set for any moves, hey, truth is that Berardi wants to leave. This is what you're hearing from everywhere, and the players may take over. Now, apparently, Sassuolo's starting to look at some potential replacements. But when it comes to Juventus, the same stance. We have to make room. So who is going to leave? And right now, it doesn't sound like there's going to be any moves to free that up. So it's a very, very strange scenario. But of course, it'll be followed right to the end. Will we get a surprise late in the mercato? We very well could, everybody. We very well could. When it comes to Bonucci, Union Berlin is pushing to finalize this. And I think Bonucci's just waiting, because they're just waiting for the player signal. He's hoping for something in Italy opening up, but it's probably not going to happen, and he might have to settle for Germany, all right? So look for that one. They say the next 48 hours is key in that one. Max Allegri and his redemption. Well, Aldo Spinelli, former president of Livorno, comes out and states that Max Allegri turned everything down in the summer as far as a big, big, rich Saudi offer because he wants to prove his worth. He doesn't like where last season, even these last two seasons, have left his status and himself essentially as a freelance coach. So he is driven this year to redeem himself. But he does say that after redeeming himself, then look for him to make a move potentially to Saudi or even England, because these offers are just far too rich for anyone in Italy. Well, he's got a healthy contract with Juventus, and I would have to think if Max truly gets the job done, redeems himself, and gets there, would he leave at that moment? Well, maybe. Anything can happen. What was interesting is when I asked everybody on the live chat, and we brought this up on the last post-match podcast, all right, the first post-match podcast of the season, I said, can Max Allegri change your mind if what we saw on Sunday becomes the norm, becomes our consistent play, and we start getting results and win a trophy? Could he change your mind if you were on the side that wanted to see him leave in the summer? I was on that side, and I said yes. He could change my mind, because if all of a sudden that became the norm, that was our consistent play, and we expected that every time, and we got pretty much that type of drive, performance, energy, and our key guys were thriving, and we get a trophy, absolutely, he would have changed my mind, made a turnaround, and then I'd have no problem with him staying. But there's many that still say they wouldn't. You guys know the drill. Let me know what you think about that in the comment section and all the news you heard today, all right? Let's mix it up in there, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts on all that, especially Max's redemption, okay? I'll be back tomorrow with another daily update video, and look for a live, potentially Thursday or Friday coming up, where we gear up for the weekend and just talk all the latest news surrounding Juventus, all right? Till tomorrow, as always, fino alla fine, forza Juve, ciao tutti.